Ladies and gentlemen, friends and admirers of the exceptional, allow me to extol with the profound reverence he so richly deserves the life and legacy of Quentin Crisp. This is not a mere homage, it is a necessary recognition of a man whose very existence was an act of unparalleled defiance, whose every breath was a testament to the indomitable will of the human spirit. Imagine, if you will, Oscar Wilde graced with an additional half-century to hone his wit, sharpen his insights, and deepen his defiance. Imagine Wilde not merely surviving, but flourishing in the face of relentless adversity. This is Quentin Crisp, a luminary of a different, yet profoundly kindred era. Born Dennis Charles Pratt on Christmas Day in 1908, Quentin Crisp came into the world in a time and place cloaked in stifling Victorian propriety and burgeoning Edwardian rigidity. From an early age, it was clear that Crisp was destined for a path less trodden, a life lived in radiant defiance of societal norms. His choice to adopt the name Quentin Crisp in 1931 marked the beginning of a self-stylization that would become his hallmark, a vivid declaration of individuality that would not be silenced or subdued. In the 1930s, a decade synonymous with economic depression and the looming shadow of war, Quentin Crisp dared to live openly as an effeminate gay man in the unforgiving streets of London. This was no small act of bravery, it was a daily gamble with his very safety. Assaulted and harassed almost daily, Crisp faced the vitriol of a society that found his existence an affront to its rigid moral codes. Yet he refused to hide or to conform. His flamboyant dress, makeup, and dyed hair were not mere affectations but potent symbols of his resistance. He stood as a beacon of defiance, his very presence a challenge to the forces of repression and bigotry. Crisp's magnum opus, The Naked Civil Servant, published in 1968, is a work of such startling honesty and unflinching candor that it remains a cornerstone of LGBTQ literature. In its pages, Crisp recounts with searing clarity the brutalities he endured, from the ceaseless taunts and physical attacks to the more insidious, pervasive isolation. His wit, ever sharp and incisive, shines through even in the darkest recountings, turning his personal saga into a universal narrative of resilience. The book's subsequent adaptation into a film in 1975, with John Hurt's masterful portrayal of Crisp, brought his story to a wider audience, cementing his status as a cultural icon. But it is not merely the trials that define Quentin Crisp, it is his triumph over them. His intellect was as formidable as his courage. Crisp's observations on society, human nature, and the absurdities of life are delivered with a wit so sharp that it cuts through the veneer of everyday pretenses. He once remarked, "The consuming desire of most human beings is deliberately to plant their whole life in the hands of some other person." In this single, incisive statement, he laid bare the paradox of human existence, our simultaneous yearning for independence and the security of dependence. In the twilight of his years, Quentin Crisp relocated to New York City, a metropolis that embraced his eccentricity with a warmth that his native England had so often denied. In Manhattan, Crisp became an unlikely but beloved figure of the avant-garde scene, his modest apartment becoming a salon for artists, writers, and thinkers who sought his company and his wisdom. His one-man shows, including An Evening with Quentin Crisp, showcased his storytelling prowess and his enduring ability to captivate an audience with nothing more than his presence and his words. It is in this latter stage of his life that one sees the full measure of Crisp's impact. Here was a man who, having endured decades of abuse and marginalization, found himself not merely accepted, but celebrated. His life became a testament to the power of authenticity, the necessity of self-expression, and the ultimate triumph of individuality over conformity. His wit remained undiminished, his insights as piercing as ever. When he declared, "Style is being yourself, but on purpose," he was encapsulating a philosophy that he had lived every day of his life. Quentin Crisp's influence extends far beyond his personal narrative. He paved the way for future generations of LGBTQ individuals to live their lives with the same fearless authenticity that he exemplified. His friendship with the likes of Sting, his influence on the countercultural movements of the late 20th century, and his continued relevance in discussions of gender and sexuality attest to the enduring legacy of his courage and intellect. Crisp's journey from the oppressive confines of early 20th century Britain to the vibrant, diverse tapestry of late 20th century New York, is a testament to the universality of his message and the timelessness of his defiance. In celebrating Quentin Crisp, we celebrate more than just a man. We celebrate a symbol of resistance, a beacon of individuality, and a paragon of the human spirit's capacity for resilience and creativity. His life, marked by profound trials and triumphant resurgence, stands as a beacon for all who dare to defy the conventions of their time. If Oscar Wilde, with his dazzling wit and tragic demise, represents the martyrdom of the aesthete, then Quentin Crisp, with his indomitable spirit and enduring influence, represents its apotheosis. Crisp lived the life that Wilde might have aspired to had he been granted the grace of another half-century, a life not merely of style but of substance, not merely of survival but of triumph. So let us raise our glasses to Quentin Crisp, a man of immense bravery and intellect, a beacon of individuality, and a paragon of the human spirit's capacity for resilience and creativity. His life was a work of art, his legacy a beacon of hope for all who dare to defy the conventions of their time. And in celebrating him, we celebrate the boundless potential of the human spirit to transcend, to inspire and to endure. Quentin Crisp, you stand as a testament to the power of the individual against the suffocating embrace of conformity. In your honor, we celebrate the triumph of the human spirit, the enduring power of wit and intellect, and the unyielding courage of a life lived in brilliant defiance.